Could you imagine if there was such a governing body for people to go and complain to afterwards, if they've had a dodgy medium reading and they don't like it? Can you imagine what kind of chaos that would cause for these chaps who are doing this?
But I think, but maybe if there was some sort of board, some regulatory board that actually, and I don't know who that would be. That's the problem, because this paranormal thing is so disjointed, and everyone seems to want to be jumping at each other's throats just for a little bit.
Well, the board
to make
would
extra
probably
fibre.
the board would probably be decided from the major psychic groups, like the Spiritualist Association of Great Britain or
But
something like that.
I would be
But
the first to deny that. I would be the first to say no.
That's the fakes doing the fakes. Or it could be. So you wouldn't get a board. A normal layman couldn't be the board.
But there are fakes in the Spiritualist Church.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you might get fakes judging fakes. If you had a layman board where people like us, how do you know if a medium's true or not? You just don't know.
The problem is people like us. You couldn't have us because no one will recognise the board, because obviously there are other paranormal groups. You guys have got two very successful paranormal groups, and you've got great names, and they do really good work. And but there are the ones that aren't doing what you do and are maybe their means they get their activity by fairly dubious means that wouldn't accept, if you guys were on it, wouldn't accept it. They certainly wouldn't accept me on it, and they wouldn't accept you on it, because we've all got some TV presence as well. So it's like, well, why should they be on the board? And then you'd even be more disjointed. You couldn't have people who have nothing to do with the paranormal, because they could easily be duped.
Well, I reckon you should head it.
I know, because I'd bring back hanging for fake mediums. I just would, because it would kind of really sort the men out from the boys, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
If you give a bad reading, you will be taken from here to a place of execution. Make sure you're hung by your fake neck until you are
black cap.
Stop them lying.
Every medium sitting should be, next to them there should be a guy with a gun. Do you agree to this reading? What was that like? Was it accurate?
Or what was the term they used? Can you take that? Can you take it? No, can you take it? But this is what I mean about it. It's whole thing. I mean, I think that fake mediums, I think, are the scum of the earth. I mean, I think they really are the scum of the earth.
When you kind of break it down, because they know, again, we're going back to the point where they know full well what they're doing. And they're making shed loads of money from it. Certainly in this day and age, a lot of people do. So what would you class somebody that does that, knowing what they do is totally wrong and robbing people of the money?
They're manipulating people at the most vulnerable. They're usually the bereaved, usually the elderly. That's what they're usually going for.
Someone who's looking for comfort.
So it's always that.
Makes them more gullible.
You have to remember is that a lot of psychics, people go to the psychic. So if you're going to a psychic, you're already there. He or she has got you there. And the trouble is, there's no way of... I mean, the reason that... I know when you said earlier about you don't believe because you don't believe yes or no, because you've not had anything personal. See, I come from a point of view where I used to believe. I mean, I actually used to believe in psychics completely. I mean, normally it's the other way around, is you don't believe and then you get some reading, you believe. I used to believe in them. And because of my experiences, I actually don't believe in any of them. I have been given readings, the most ridiculous readings you could ever have seen or heard. I mean, it's just, obviously stuff that's on the internet.
Yeah, I've got to say, the danger you run the risk of is that you're fairly well known. You've got a fairly well known face. Crowd watch, good looking, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, probably 9 times out of 10 mediums, if you walked in for a reading, they'll probably know who you are. Because let's be honest, like a lot of people who are interested in the paranormal, mediums would, I'm sure, be interested in the paranormal. Therefore, you'd probably watch programs that you produce.
So he'd walk in and they'd say to him, "You don't believe in this, do you?"
That would be right, though, wouldn't it?
But isn't it weird that almost means? I mean, when you think of it, we're all known for what we do. We're all known in the areas that we. So basically, the 4 people around this table are almost unreadable from a psychic perspective.
Almost, yeah.
Because you couldn't go to, because literally they know of your group, they know of what you do, so they would know about you, and at the back of your mind, even if it was a good reading, you'd think, we must know the same sort of people, so therefore they could have easily found that out. But there's in all of us, the one thing that makes us that 0.1% readable is there is something in our lives that we've either forgotten about and we need nudging, or we've kept a secret. Yeah. Whatever that is, I don't. You know, it's. I know you've got a lot of secrets, but, but
really.
but do you know what I mean? And if that's all they need to do, and you know, one psychic only need come up to me and tell me one thing that either I've forgotten or something I know I've not told anyone else, and I will believe them. Yeah. But they won't, because I think, in my opinion, they are all fake. Yeah. I mean, there are nice ones. They're people I've been working with that are really lovely, and they truly do believe they're psychic. And I think those are the people that should be allowed to continue and develop their work, because they're the ones who could possibly prove me wrong.
And they're not the ones shouting from the highest steeple about how good they are and how much money it's going to cost you to come and see them.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just think there's an area we need to go to with this psychic thing. And we're not there yet. I think the Fraudulent Mediums Act, when that was, you know, we've been campaigning for that for years to be changed. And when we were told it was going to be changed, we honestly thought, fantastic, this is going to be.
So what does the Act say now then? What
basically, as long as you say it's for entertainment purposes only.
Oh, I see. When did that come out?
A couple of years ago now.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of years ago. It was updated, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, I mean, you had the usual response.
Is that not just for TB then? For anything?
For anything.
Yeah, right. For anything. Yeah.
But they just put it straight. That's when they put it straight back onto the victims. But they've got. There's three reactions. There's two you need to discount. There's the ones that obviously, when this is ridiculous, you can't do this, or obviously fake. The ones that, when this is fantastic, this will prove us all real, fake. Yeah. It's the ones that were quiet and didn't care, because they're the ones who believe they are real and have nothing to hide.
Just get on with it.
Absolutely nothing to hide. And this is, I want to talk about this question of testing mediums, because that's another thing that I've often tried to do. But it's very difficult to get a medium to be tested. But join us after the break. We'll only be away for a couple of minutes, and we'll be right back.